Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, FD465.tv, with episode 6 of our RWA series, where we are looking at the top layer ones that are going to benefit the most from this niche, the real world asset category. But before I proceed with this video, guys, episode 6, please know that what I'm going to share with you in this video is not financial advice. If you do require financial advice, please approach someone who's trying to give you financial advice. The information contained in this video is just for educational as well as entertainment purposes. It's not meant to give you any financial advice of any sort, and if you do reside in the UK, please know that this video is not intended for UK audiences. The authorities are trying to protect you just in case you end up losing your funds, and you do indeed lose funds within crypto. So this is not for you, and this content is also meant just for educational as well as entertainment purposes. That said, let's come back to episode 6, where we are looking at the layer 1s or leading layer 1s that are most likely going to benefit the most from RWAs. And in episode 6, we kick off with Algorand, ticker symbol ALGO, ALGO. Algorand, a high-speed pure proof-of-stake chain often touted for institutional and government use cases. Algorand has positioned itself as a blockchain for finance with an emphasis on performance. Here you're talking of fast finality, over 1000 TPS, and minimal forks. It has seen quite a few real-world projects. Let's give you a few examples here. We've got digital currencies and national projects where Algorand was selected to support Italy's digital bank guarantees platform back in 2022, working with the Bank of Italy and Italian insurers to put guarantees for surety bonds on chain. This is a significant enterprise use case, essentially tokenizing an insurance or financial contract to reduce fraud within that market. It also shows that Algorand's credibility for government level solutions is there. You can't doubt that. Next, you got the Marshall Islands planned CBDC, which also involved Algorand as their choice. It was the blockchain they want to build on, and El Salvador reportedly used Algorand infrastructure for parts of its blockchain initiative. Asset tokenization and marketplaces, that's another area where Algorand has been used by startups like Lofty.ai to tokenize real estate properties, allowing people to buy fractional tokens of rental homes. Lofty chose Algorand for its speed and low fees, making the user experience of buying a $50 token smooth. Buying part of a house for $50, that's ace. There are dozens of properties tokenized via Algorand's standard asset framework or ASA framework, with rental payouts delivered as crypto, a tangible example of RWAs on Algorand benefiting small investors. Next, you got stable coins and payments. USDC launched on Algorand back in 2020. Given its performance and a lot of Algo's on-chain value is from these fiat-backed stablecoins, which count as RWA-backed tokens. Algorand was processing millions in USDC transactions, including for Latin American remittances and Micronesia cross-border projects. Algorand's team forged partnerships with institutions like SIA, which is European Payment Processor, and the International Chess Federation to tokenize chess winnings, which is a niche in its own right. More seriously, Algorand was chosen by a consortium of financial institutions back in 2021 for a project called Project Viridian to examine green bond tokenization. Also, companies like Lofty, a marketplace for carbon credits, built on Algorand to issue tokenized carbon offsets. And while Algorand's DeFi TVO is not that large, you're talking of approximately 100 million, if not less, it is a growing DeFi scene, which is also incorporating RWA yields. And with its strong academic foundation created by Turing Award winner in Silvio Mecali and early government deals, Algorand is a serious player for permissioned public hybrid uses. It may not yet have a blockbuster tokenized asset like a huge bond, but its trajectory in Italy's guarantee platform suggests more could come. Should Italy or another EU country fully adopt Algorand for a category of financial instruments, that could bring tens of billions in notional value onto Algorand's rails. The Algo token's utility would increase via transaction fees and possibly staking by network governors if those projects scale. That's on Algorand. Let us know what you think about Algorand's prospects when it comes to RWAs. Next, we move on to Stellar, ticker symbol XLM. Stellar, a blockchain focused on payments and forex with an established track record in tokenizing fiat currencies and more recently funds. Stellar is similar to Ripple's XRP ledger in that it was designed for fast settlement of tokenized assets, particularly currencies. Key points for Stellar in RWAs include fiat stablecoins and cross-border transactions. Stellar has been hosting fiat tokens often issued by fintech partners called anchors since its early days. For example, Circle's USDC live on Stellar, and there are Euro tokens, Argentine peso tokens as examples. This effectively tokenizes bank deposits, also another type of real-world asset for use on Stellar, facilitating remittance remittances and forex trades with near zero fees. Stellar was used by IBM's World Wire Payment Initiative for cross-border payments with stable. And let's not forget Franklin Templeton's fund on Stellar, which is groundbreaking in its own right. And as a tokenized money fund, it initially launched on the Stellar network back in 2019. The fund's shares were tracked on Stellar's ledger. This was notable as the first instance of a major mutual fund using a public blockchain for record keeping. Back in 2023, Franklin expanded the fund to Polygon and Ethereum for broader access, but Stellar remained one of the base networks. Stellar's efficient handling of simple transactions, we are talking of transfers of fund shares, was likely a reason it was initially chosen. And going back in history again, back in 2021 into 2022, the Ukrainian government and Stellar Development Foundation worked on a pilot to issue a digital version of the Ukrainian currency. I'm not going to butcher the spelling, but it's HRYVNIA. While war interrupted plans, Stellar has been used by NGOs for distributing aid as token vouchers in Ukraine and other places, again tokenizing fiat money for real-world use cases. We move on to asset tokenization, and we are still on Stellar. Aside from currencies, Stellar has seen tokenization of other assets through third parties. For instance, a company called DSTOQ facilitated tokenized stocks trading in certain jurisdictions using Stellar as the transfer network. We're talking of small cap equities from other exchanges made available as tokens. Moreover, projects like Smartlands based in the UK use Stellar to tokenize agricultural assets and real estate equity, targeting investors with regulated offerings on Stellar. Stellar's partnerships include the likes of MoneyGram, using Stellar for USDC cash out in various countries, and a Ukrainian bank. It might not have as many Fortune 500 enterprise deals as Ethereum or Algorand, but its niche is financial inclusion and fintech, working with the likes of Flutterwaves in Africa for tokenized fiat. The Stellar Foundation also invested in Circle, the issue of USDC, to bolster stablecoin liquidity on Stellar. Stellar also provides built-in token functionality and a decentralized exchange or DEX at the protocol level. This is useful for RWAs because a token issuer on Stellar can immediately have their assets tradable against other assets via Stellar's on-chain DEX. For example, a tokenized bond could be swapped for USDC on the ledger itself. And Stellar's strength is in tokenized fiat and simple financial assets. While it hasn't focused on complex smart contract or DeFi, it's a proven network for representing real-world value digitally, with an emphasis on compliance. For example, issuers can require KYC approval for holding their tokens. If central bank digital currencies or CBDCs or regulated stablecoins expand, Stellar could be a backbone for those or an option, effectively becoming a global tokenized fiat platform. For RWAs like funds and stocks, it may play a supporting role, as with Franklin Templeton, or serve smaller market. The XLM coin or token is the native token and is mainly used for fees as an intermediary for Forex on the network. So increased tokenized asset flow, especially Forex related, would actually drive demand for the XLM token as well. So that's on Stellar. I think Stellar actually has some traction. It's just that the acceptance from the wider crypto ecosystem has been somehow muted, but people do recognize its similarity to the XRP ledger and think those in the know. And especially with collaborations with the likes of MoneyGram, I think it is a more than decent start for Stellar. Let's move on to the third layer 1. This one again, a less common layer 1 in XDC network, ticker symbol XDC. XDC is an EVM compatible blockchain. It's a fork of Ethereum targeting trade finance and enterprise use. XDC by Zinfin is less known to retail, but is have a niche in trade finance tokenization and as a bridge between Coda enterprise software and public blockchain. And the key highlights for XDC network includes trade finance assets. XDC was used in one of the first instances of trade finance tokenization back in 2021 by a consortium including Trade Tech and the International Trade Finance Association tokenized trade finance notes or invoices into NFTs on XDC, which could then be transferred to investors or even used within MakerDAO as collateral. This showed how illiquid trade receivables could get liquidity via DeFi. XDC's hybrid approach appeals to trade networks that need privacy yet want broader investor access. As for TVL and DeFi presence, XDC's DeFi activity is more relative to the others we covered in this video. You're talking of TVL well under 50 million usually, but it has some leading protocols and DEXs, and its enterprise partnerships include TradeFinex, which is a network built on XDC to connect MSMEs to tokenized trade finance. And when it comes to use cases for XDC, it shines when it comes to invoice financing, where a company might want to tokenize its invoices to tap into some liquidity. We're talking of monthly invoices notice, XDC can be a low-cost public network for doing that, with the assurance that only vetted participants or master nodes validate, reducing risk of unknown miners. This is similar to how Ripple's XRP ledger works with non-validators. If the 7 trillion plus trade finance gap in the world starts being addressed via tokenization, I can see a situation where the likes of XDC's hands capture a significant portion of that volume. Already in token of 2022, a $30 million pool of trade finance assets were tokenized via XDC, proving the loop from trade asset originator to DeFi investor. At this pilot scale up, XDC's role could increase. For investors, XDC might fly under the radar, but the XDC token could see more utility if used as gas for high throughput of trade transactions, or if required as collateral or staking by participants. So again, as with the other two videos, each blockchain that we've covered in this video brings something unique. The likes of Tezos, Algorand, and Stellar bring institutional credibility or institutional trust, and XDC is trade finance focused, or are likely to play a part in the emerging tokenized asset landscape. It's also likely we will see a multi-chain environment where assets live on the chain best suited for them but can interoperate. For example, a bond might issue a permission subnet, then bridge to Ethereum DeFi for trading. So that will be Avalanche, then bridging to Ethereum DeFi trading. So that's the end of episode 6. Any thoughts on the 3-layer ones we featured in this video? You're talking of XDC, Stellar, and Algorand. I do hold Algorand in my private portfolio. I do not hold the Stellar token, nor do I hold the XDC token. Any thoughts on these three we've featured as the most likely layer ones benefit the most out of the RWA niche or space? Let us know in the comment section, guys. Until the next one, FD465.tv signing out for now. Bye.